Hey guys, welcome to the Moe and O Show. My name is Omar Gonzalez.
And I'm Mo Morales.
And we are friends that talk about tech, photography, coffee, comics,
Movies,
and life.
Netflix.
That was like the best intro we've ever done.
Yes, I want to ruin it. Crack cocaine.
All right, so the first thing I want to talk about really quickly is, and we put these cameras out here on purpose. We have a Fuji X-T2 out and the Sony 6...
A63.
Yeah. What's it called again? The
that
A63.
camera.
I made a video, which was totally 100% clickbaity, that I switched to Sony. And one of the reasons I made the video is because if I put up an image on Instagram or anything, or if I talk about an image, everyone's like, what camera was that? Was that the Fuji?
That don't look like Fuji.
Yeah. Was that the Canon or the Fuji? Please tell me.
Come in.
So the person needs to know what camera it is to make a judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And I put up sneakily put up a one of my photos is labeled as Fuji, and it performed a lot better than a similar photo that is labeled Canon.
It's fanboyism. It's scary how this world works. I mean,
So question number one, are you a fanboy of anything?
no, I have not. Well, I'm not a fanboy of anything. The only camera brand I've never owned is Canon.
Yeah.
You know what? I had a
You
Canon
had a
Red
Canon.
Bull when it was
Yeah.
back in the SLR days, before the D,
The D.
before I got the D, son.
D, D.
Oh my.
20 D energizers.
20 C energizers.
D, not C, D.
C energizers.
D, motherfucker, D. Learn to speak English first, all right?
Yeah, so no, to me, it's what feels good in my hands, what's going to help me get my job done, and what's available.
Yeah.
If I don't have anything, and Omar says, "Here, borrow my Canon,"
Yeah. But I am I am brand snobby. Like, for example, I fell in love with the X100 series street camera. First of all, Canon love all the way.
right?
So definitely brand loyal to Canon. Nike, when I was in 8th grade, I was like, you would have thought I was sponsored by Nike. I wouldn't look at Adidas or anything, So I definitely have that gene of brand loyalty. And Fuji, because of that little camera we both owned, it hooked me, and it's like, hey, continue this journey. Like, as opposed to going to Olympus or going to, like even
Sony.
looking. There's cameras I don't even look at.
Right. No, I mean, I'm completely the opposite. I'm open to what's new, what's better. The way I use my phones, I'll have a Huawei 1 minute, an iPhone the next minute,
You're
a
a
OnePlus
hooer.
the next. I want what's best for me for what I need.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't, because if you limit yourself to a brand, you're losing out on so many things. But I'm an oddity.
You're an oddity.
I'm an oddity. There's so
But
many.
there's levels. We're human. There's levels because I don't know. I'm sure there's people that resent that I bring up Canon, or that I was like offended people that I
Touch the
jokingly
Sony.
touched the Sony. It's like,
wait. Wash your hands, boy. Wash your hands.
and honestly, it's like I said this in a comment, but in an alternate universe, sort of Miles Morales, I could have done all the same stuff with Sony.
And you would have been
the
a Sony channel completely.
I would have been totally a Sony channel. I would have Sony followers and have Fuji haters. So it's all a state of mind. And although I am aware of being, quote, a fanboy, that I am brand loyal, I would say I'm brand loyal Canon, Fuji.
Mm-hmm.
I would be open to owning a Sony. I would be open to, as if it comes out with everything that I need.
So is this after using this one, or just because of just
No, not using that piece of crap.
that ugly box he called it?
It's like a freaking...
Daja.
Sorry, I was going to say an ice cream sandwich with a lens.
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah.
I love sandwiches.
No, like for example, the A7 series, they look really promising. They look really great. I'm just still not a fan of... for my work, I don't think using flash with mirrorless is fantastic. I'm not really looking in the EVF, but I am a fan of where they're going with focus. Like they're going like, you don't need to think about focus.
Your focus.
We
is
got
bananas.
focus for
Yeah.
you.
Bananas focusing. I mean, like we both have to agree that at 1.8 you weren't missing anything.
Yeah, I didn't notice because I would just hit back button focus and it focused. But I don't know, modes. It had like a bunch of different modes. So I kept it like center focus, totally for what I was doing. I'm talking about if you're shooting an event and they introduce the kid or the crowd or the bride and groom and they're running down, you have to go from one shot to AI servo or like continuous really fast. So I love what they're doing with the autofocus.
Definitely aren't going to miss. Like if you hit it down and get those 11 frames per second on the A7 III, you're not missing any of those focus shots.
Totally.
I mean, maybe out of 11 you'll miss one.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the A50 though, the Nikon D850 has improved drastically as well, where its focus has improved, but it's not touching Sony.
No, and I think Sony's automation, where they're headed in the right direction, where you can just tell it, you know what, this person needs to be in focus. The person running, the bride, the groom, can you just watch their eye, and everything I shoot will be in focus. And one of the reasons I'm sticking around with Canon, or the reason, first of all, I love the files out of Canon. It's kind of like the
perfect size, perfect color balance, everything.
Totally. 30 megapixels. I love the 5D Mark IV files, but the focus is a pain. I got to move things. I got to move the focus point around. I'm using the EVF. Sorry, it doesn't have an EVF. I'm using the LCD to
Canon, maybe you should have.
Yeah, listen, yo. I'm hopeful that they make a 5D Mark V or 5.6. That's why I'm sticking around. It's because I'm waiting and waiting and waiting so that it has everything I have in my 5D Mark IV, which I love, plus crazy track this person autofocus in an EVF of some kind or something.
I'm at the point where I'm thinking DSLR wise, we're coming to the end of the train. I think we maybe have one or two more bodies ahead of us before everyone decides mirrorless is great enough now, not just good enough anymore. Here's what you should do. I'm always giving Omar projects.
Let's go.
Next year, when you get to your quiet season, ask one of your friends, can you tag along and shoot one of their things where you'll give them anything that comes out decent.
You're right. No pressure. And then see how it performs.
Because you obviously don't want to do it on your money stuff.
No. And I'm hustling with my Canon and I'm getting great shots.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
When I don't, when I got something I want to try, I say, hey, can I tag along? Usually it's like, a quinceañera or a birthday party, nothing really big like a bar mitzvah or anything like that. But it's the same purpose. I want to see how this works with somebody else's work, where I can give them something beneficial, but not losing anything by having me there.
Great point. Yeah, and that's what I need to do, and leave the Canon stuff home. Like
that way you can find out whether or not is it in your head or no. Here's proof of what my thinking was and why I'm blocking the camera.
It's all right. That's a great point. And we get into our comfort zones, man, because that's one of the things. I don't want my gear to sort of get in the way of the experience of the clients. I want their experience. It has to be effortless, where I'm not fumbling with gear. So that happens with my Canon. It's like fits like a glove.
We were just talking, you and I were just talking that I'm going to sell my Nikon. I'm going to jump on the Sony bandwagon. They're lighter. They have exactly what I need.
You were going to make the switch.
But then I said to myself, no, my Nikon D850 is a monster.
It's an amazing
camera. It's a heavy monster, but I'm not getting anywhere near that quality anywhere else. I mean, Sony's very compatible, very good, but I don't know the Sony cameras.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get enough work between now and an actual event to actually get better at that camera beforehand. I mean, I'm talking like 10, 11 years of Nikon history.
Yeah.
From the D5000 to now, I've got all the arrangements all the way up. So I decided that my gear would be in the way of my client because I'm in the process of learning it still. I didn't want that. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to man up, get back to the gym, deal with a heavier camera, and just, I'm not going to have to convert lenses. I'm not going to have to get new lenses. So I talked myself out of it, so my gear would not be in my way. So I completely understand what you're saying, that we get comfortable, but it's in some cases, if it's working, why not?
Yeah, it's true. And I think that's the argument bringing it back to the fanboyism. I think that's what bothers me is why are you Canon? Why are you still shooting Canon? Why don't you shoot events with your Fuji? And it's like, you know what? The Canon is working fine. The system is working fine. The images I love.
And until recently,
it's like, why do I need to switch? Because of brand loyalty? Because
the fanboys want you to.
I know.
The fan people, because I've seen the fangirls out there too.
Oh, yeah. We're on to you ladies.
So, no, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, again, some of them are professional shooters that are using Fuji work, but I notice a lot of my people who tell me I should shoot this, I should shoot that, are people just shooting family stuff around the house. And
that's true. What's your use?
I mean, take that thing out and get paid, $3,000 for an event and then tell me after you have 18 botches,
300,
misfires,
400 guests.
Yeah. So if you're able to work that machinery in that kind of an environment, then talk to me about what I should be shooting with.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point.
And I'm not saying that to everybody, because I do know that there are plenty of Fuji professional users that recommend stuff to you, and plenty of Sony users that have told me I should switch from Nikon. This is why.
Yeah.
And they're professional. I've seen their work. I respect them. But there's more. I would say it's 30-70 of people. The 70% are people that backyard barbecue all weekend.
Totally.
And are telling me what I should shoot. And I'm like, oh, really?
That's a great point.
What kind of car should I buy? What kind of sneakers? How should I tie my laces?
It's a good point, and I think it comes back to at the end of the day, if you're working, what does your client notice? They just that the pictures are beautiful. You could get that with this. You could get that with this. You can get that with any brand if you know what you're doing.
Image quality is not based on the brand
Brand or buttons
You
or
can get-
focus.
you can get-
could manually focus at 1.2 and get a beautiful. You can manually. It doesn't matter. You don't have to use continuous eye focus.
You could manually focus with a $50 lens and get an amazing photo.
Yeah.
So again, the brand does not make as big a difference as the quality of what you're using.
But yeah, and it goes back to we're humans. We have this tribalism. So you feel like you're part of a community, and I know it. I'm part of the community, and I love the community. But when it gets vicious, but when it gets hate for no reason to hate, and my quote hate for Sony is fake. I mean, I respect all the companies that are putting stuff out there.
We are the Borg. You shall be assimilated.
What is that from?
Star Trek.
Yeah,
We are the Borg. Prepare to be assimilated.
We are the board.
Resistance is futile.
Resist. No, sorry.
So yeah, they're an automated alien race that everyone has to be them or they'll kill you.
Oh, that's interesting.
So-
I feel like that's what's going on in politics and
Everywhere.
religion,
Everywhere. Not
everything.
Not just cameras.
Not just cameras.
Cell phones. Oh, why are you an iPhone guy?
Oh
That
my
kind of stuff.
gosh.
Yeah, so that's everywhere. It's in our human nature, but I think if people stop and think about it, it's really silly.
It's really silly, absolutely. And I think it's happening with cameras the last 2 years because they're coming out faster.
They're coming out faster. They're better. They're more expensive. I spent $3,000. Everyone should buy this camera. Why am I the only one?
Yeah, the product cycles are killing us. Look at Apple now is talking about how they're not going to talk about how many phones they sell anymore. Will the product cycle, like even from OnePlus, ever slow down?
No, and people complain about that. But OnePlus is like, listen, we put out one phone only, and once we got a better version, we putting it right back out. So you get a T model the same year. So
That's crazy. But I don't know. That's got to end. Isn't that like, being a daily vlogger on YouTube? Eventually, you're going to implode.
basically, you're gonna go broke buying all the stuff unless they give.
No, I'm saying the companies. I'm asking the companies. Won't they eventually stop?
They're going to
coming
get to the realization when the profits go down.
Oh, that's what you mean.
The bottom line is profits.
Yeah.
If you're still making lots of money, making 2 phones a year,
then you're going to keep doing it.
thanks for bringing a rant in my head.
Uh-oh.
So OnePlus, I love your phones. Love
We
your
stood
phone.
online for a stupid hour to get that phone.
Yes, and we loved it. We enjoyed the experience.
OnePlus T.
Everything. T-Mobile was great. We met this wonderful German gentleman. Was he German? Anyway, his name
It was a
Glenn.
German.
His name was Glenn. He was a very nice guy. But anyway, you got to stop putting out 2 colors, and then a week later, after I buy one or I give it one or someone gets one, come out with a brand new color that someone else is going to want.
Oh, boy.
So they just released the purple one. I don't care about the purple one, but the point is, why wasn't all the color options out from the beginning?
Oh, so you wanted the purple one.
No, I'm happy with the matte black
You're just
one.
afraid for the future.
But last year, earlier this year, with the OnePlus 6, and the red one came out months after the original ones came out.
You wanted that
the red
red
one
one.
was so nice.
Oh, man. Was it a product red?
No,
Oh, it
no.
wasn't even product
It was
red.
like a flame red. It was a beautiful red.
Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, stop doing that. Give us all our choices at once, because you're cutting your own people out. I mean, it's not like you're hurting anyone else but your own people.
Yeah. So did you switch that OnePlus that we got that day?
No.
Oh.
Ultimately, I stayed with it because it was a good deal.
Yeah,
And it's all about a good deal for the same phone. Speaking of good deals, I heard you had a problem with one of your really good deals, flashes.
Oh, yeah. Let me talk about that real quick. So that goes with what we're talking about. I was about to jump ship from all my Canon lighting and do Flashpoint at an event, and it totally works. However, the amount of steps that you need to take to turn lights on, turn lights off, switch the powers, it's just, even with learning it and practicing it, it's too slow. That's reason number one. And I've realized that what happens to us as photographers is we amass this gear and we want to use it, but eventually we go back to, what works. And a client's not going to notice that it's a Flashpoint 600 versus 2 speed lights on a mount, which is what I'm doing now. I went back to now what I'm using in my big, beautiful, like 8-foot modifier, 7-foot umbrella that I love to use is just 2 speed lights that are in there. And the speed lights recycle fast enough. And I shoot in low light environments. So the Flashpoint was actually giving me too much light. But the Flashpoint system works. But 2 main things. Number one, you can't turn stuff on and off as fast as you can with using the ABC system in Canon. And 2, the like focus beam is, you ever see like that Young-Yo focus beam, which is like that grid pattern that it's on someone's face? Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like when Terminator's like searching for bodies.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Before I broke the mic.
And so I'm looking for moments, and as soon as my flash, that focus assist goes on, people look over. It ruins the candids.
It kills everything.
So the Canon little laser is really quiet. Like you actually can't see it.
The little red or quiet thing. It's like that's why the military uses red flashlights, because it gives you enough light where you can't see it from far away or from a distance.
Yeah.
Little knowledge there for you.
All right.
But so in your point is this: if you were using, what is it called?
The Flashpoint?
If you're using the Flashpoint for just portraits, still,
oh, I love it.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
But
and I'm gonna still use it for
that. But you can't run around with an event on it.
Not me, anyway.
Not as...
My brain works in the sense that the way I use the menu is like, hey, I want to turn that light off now. And in Canon, all I have to do is hit 1 button, 2 buttons, done, to shut off that backlight. Because what happens is there's something going on and people turn around, and that light now is that the light, which was a backlight, is now extra light, and I need to turn it off quickly. With the Flashpoint, it was like group mode, choose the group, activate the group, go to what you want the group to be, which is like, okay, TTL.
So basically old Canon days.
Yeah. And then, so now I'm back to Canon speedlights, and I'm like, my inner Joe McNally, I'm loving. Joe McNally's like, I'm going to rock this with like 4 speedlights.
Yeah,
So,
and again, it's what makes you more comfortable in the event. You don't have to panic about, am I going to make this change fast enough?
Yeah.
Am I going to miss the shot because I'm over here messing with my settings? You know what? Like you said a few minutes ago, gear out of the way.
Have you heard the saying like, hey, I think Rick Salmon used to say this, if you want to use 3 lights, use 2. If you feel like you want to use 2 lights, use 1. And the thought process there is like, hey, simplify, like rock that 1 light with a reflector or bounce, use a window. So I'm now I like that. I definitely want to use 3 lights. I'm just down to 2. You know?
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense because, again, a lighter kit, easier travel, easier setup, easier management on the fly.
Heck yeah, man.
All right. Are we done? How many times? How much minutes? How many times?
We're good. We should probably just finish with one more. Let's end with this. If you are about to meet up with a family or a portrait shoot in a little downtown, you get there a little early. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for backdrops.
Okay.
I'm looking for backdrops. I'm looking for where can I position these people where they're not going to be in the way, where I'm going to get the least amount of traffic coming my way, and what's going to look good behind them.
Okay.
Because you don't want traffic lights sticking out above someone's head.
Good backgrounds.
You know,
Yeah.
You want to have a clean background. You want to have something that you can make vocaliciousness with. But that what else am I looking for? Again, safety. Where can I place a group of people where they're not in the way? Because a lot of the urban environments, unless you're in an alley, like in Court Street or something like that, you're in the middle of everything. So you want to be, where can we place these people safely, get a great shot, and have a delicious background?
Yeah, delicious.
I
look for variety for one. So I try to get a little bit of green in. So even if you're in an urban environment, there's always like some kind of hanging ivy of some kind. So I try to find something like that. And then depending on the number of family members, places to sit and stand.
Each have their own corner, their own
yeah.
Little, yeah, I do that too. But I didn't think about that. So like everyone, this is our group photo, and then Joey was in the brick corner.
Yeah,
Sally was at the cobblestone road. This one has the hanging tree over her head to hide that ugly mug. There's always one. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so I think one thing you should always do if you're doing a shoot for someone is get there early, just so that you can relax, walk around, think about composition. I know Roberto Valenzuela, is that his name? Anyway, from
Yes.
Canon, he had a little system of how to come up with poses, and some of them were, I can't remember all of them, but there were stuff like this: use reflections, keep that in your pocket, right? Use reflections. So in an urban environment, it could be like a car window or maybe like a store window. Second, look for art. So art, graffiti, a sign that's cool, or a bar. I've used barbershops before where it says barbershop and looks cool. So 2 is art. 3 is shapes. So your brain works with, where can I put the person where this, this triangle works, or, 4, leading lines, repeating patterns.
Love leading lines.
Yeah, leading lines is great. Like train tracks, and don't do train tracks.
Not when
It's
there's trains
overdone.
coming. No.
Yeah, not when trains coming. So, I like your ideas. I like,
I'm so urban though. I should probably start thinking that way, but I'm so gritty, urban, old-fashioned, harsh that I don't think I want green in my urban.
oh, well, let me ask you a harder question. Let's say that your client is like, I love this park. Let's shoot at the park.
Okay.
And in your mind, you're thinking, all right, what am I going to do?
No.
That's what I think.
So let me rephrase that. So I love urban shooting, but I don't, wherever I'm at, I'm going to get something amazing. So
Really?
Yeah, because I'm that good. I'm the bomb. Bee's knees. All that.
I love it. I'm going to get something good.
No, but you know what it is?
I know
like,
what you're saying.
If
You
I'm
could-
in,
you
if
could
I'm-
rock it.
If I'm on Court Street in
Easy.
Hoboken,
Court Street is easy.
if
That's
I-
not what I'm saying.
If
right.
I'm in Court Street, I don't want green. I want
Agreed.
city, gritty,
bluish
dirty.
tones. Yeah.
If I'm in Nomahingan Park in
Yeah.
Cranford,
That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
I want. I've been there enough that I know where the forest bends, and you could add the road to it, and you could add nice
All right.
trees.
I
You
got
got the
you,
river
got you.
background.
So you're using the trees and paths and whatever as their own leading lines. That's your idea. So
Right,
you
so-
will move around in the park.
I like to have the family hugged by the road as it curves around.
Okay.
I think it's beautiful. Like it sticks to them and then it leads out. So your eye follows that path to the family. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. And until then, my friend, always a pleasure.
Bam.